Hello everybody and welcome to the pilot episode of Wrestling for Dummies. My name is Papish and I will be your guide to the wacky world of pro wrestling. On this channel I will be explaining to you pro wrestling topics like I would to an outsider who has never even watched an episode of 2010 ECW. Since it's a pilot episode, I want to cover a topic that is widely known and recently became popular for all the wrong reasons. Without further ado, this is a baby. Do you know who was also a baby in 1945? Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who was born in Pinehurst, Carolina, which is about here. His father, Vincent James McMahon, left him when he was just a wee lad and took his brother with him. He was raised by multiple people and also raised as Vinnie Lupton. One of his stepdads, Leo Lupton, frequently beat his mom to the degree that Vince later said that it's unfortunate that he died before he could have killed him. So he didn't have a great childhood to say the least. Dad McMahon was a wrestling promoter for Capital Wrestling Corporation, and Vince finally met him when he was 12. From then on he was hooked on the wrestling business and wanted to be a wrestler, but his dad said no, the promoters should stay outside the ring. In 1964 he graduated from Fishburne Military School in Waynesboro. 1 year after graduating from East Carolina University with a business degree, he made a debut in his father's now renamed Worldwide Wrestling Federation as an announcer. Now attention please, because this is gonna become very important later on. Back then there was a thing called the NWA. No, not this NWA, this NWA. I mean, it still exists and is owned by a member of the Smashing Pumpkins, but you know. Anyway, back then the US had a ton of promotions scattered across all states, and the NWA would unite them all together. Back to Papa Vince. When he fell out with a promoter in Maine, he assigned that position to his son Vince, and he was good at it, helping the promotion reach wider audiences. In 1979, Vince bought a venue in Massachusetts called the Cape Cod Coliseum, ran some wrestling and non-wrestling events, got some experience in promoting and made some cash. Not so long after, in February of 1980, he alongside his wife Linda founded Titan Sports, and 2 years later, in June, he bought out his father's promotion for $1 million. So now he had a company, a venue, and a wrestling promotion to his name. You might think he'd stop there, but oh boy, he did not. Later this year, he bought out the LA territory of the NWA. In 1983, Vince wanted to expand again, trying to buy some Ohio territory, but a promoter by the name of Ole Anderson said something in the likes of, "Hey, why are you trying to acquire all that? Stop it." And then Vince left the NWA. After he left the alliance, he, to mixed opinions, started to buy out every promotion and every wrestler known to man. Wrestlers, promotions, TV time slots, Hulk Hogan, every single thing that US wrestling back then had to offer. But Vince wasn't just a promoter, he was also a businessman. He knew that he couldn't make his money back just by angry wrestling, so he called in the big guns inside the staff from another business, Cyndi Lauper. He continued buying out everything until he got a little pushback from fans and TV stations in Georgia, saying that the program he provided didn't have enough wrestling on it. Vince took that personally and went, "You want some more wrestling? Well fuck you then, here's Muhammad Ali and Mr. T." And that's how on March 31st, 1985, the first ever WrestleMania took place. Vince, being smart, picked a lot of celebrity appearances. The combination of celebrities and wrestlers was a major success, and thus the rock and wrestling boom period began. Later on, he acquired a TV time slot to run Saturday night's main event and created what is now known as the Big Four pay-per-views: WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam and Survivor Series. Back to Vince trying to buy America, he acquired so many promotions that only Jim Crockett's promotions stood a chance against him. But in 1988, the company was sold to Ted Turner, the owner of CNN, and later renamed to WCW. Rock and wrestling was at its peak when in 1987, the visual of Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant to the mat with 93,000 fans at the Pontiac Silverdome took over the wrestling world. But not all was sunshine and roses. In 1991, a Pennsylvania doctor by the name of George Zahorian has been convicted of supplying steroids to the WWF. So Vince was like, "Oh shit, people know that muscles on wrestlers are real, brother. Let's just sub them out for less roided sauce or something." On April 3rd of 1992, a former referee by the name of Rita Chatterton appeared on a TV show, Now It Can Be Told. She stated that in 1986 she was sexually assaulted by McMahon. The absence of the biggest stars, the Rita Chatterton controversy, and the ongoing steroid scandal made business go down for McMahon's company. But it didn't stop them from launching their weekly TV show in 1993, Monday Night Raw, which as of today is still airing and has struck a deal with Netflix to bring it to the platform in January 2025. In the summer of 1994, the United States vs McMahon trial began. By the way, can we talk about how hard the name of the lawsuit goes? It's an entire fucking country versus one man. Off the charts aura on that man, you know? At first, McMahon was convicted of 6 charges, but only 3 got to the courtroom, 2 charges of distribution of steroids and 1 of the conspiring to distribute steroids. Ultimately, McMahon has escaped the courtroom of a free man due to insufficient evidence and providing not guilty on the conspiracy of distribution charge. Due to the still ongoing bad publicity, the WWF underwent a roster shift into the new generation era, which was filled with hit-and-miss superstars, the hits being the likes of Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Razor Ramon, the Hart family, and the misses being the likes of the Executioner, Repo Man, and the Goon.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
While the WWF was business-wise in its worst year of all time, a new kid appeared on the block by the name of WCW and gradually took WWF stars with them. You see, at that time the difference between WCW and WWF was that the NWO, that being Scott Hall, Kevin Nash and heel Hulk Hogan, part of the WCW, had a more mean-spirited, edgy attitude that appealed to the youth of the late 90s. With WWE, it was still stuck with its cartoony characters. Okay, so now it's time to talk about the moment that declared the start of the biggest boom period, the Montreal Screwjob. It's November 9th, 1997. The annual Survivor Series is taking place, and in the main event, Shawn Michaels is challenging Bret Hart for the WWF Championship. The problem is that Bret has just signed for WCW, and this is his follow-on match in his home country of Canada. But also at the time, Shawn Michaels was unsatisfied with the way the company treated him. So Vince, being a smart boy that he is, decided to call off the match early when Shawn had Bret in the sharpshooter and declare Shawn the new WWF champion. Bret, obviously angry, wrote the letters WCW in the air, and we've never seen him on WWE TV again until 2010. After the event, Vince tried to play it off like, hey, but did it to himself, he screwed himself. Not very nice of Vinnie Mac, but you. Whatever helps you sleep at night, you know? Not so long after, Vince started appearing on TV more and more often as this evil CEO Mr. McMahon. Also at that time, more stars got the spotlight. People like Cactus Jack, Mankind, Do Love, get it because it's all Mick Foley, haha, I am so funny, haha. Please applaud me. The Rock, who you normal people may know as Dwayne Johnson, a certain Hardhurst Hemsley, and finally Stone Cold Steve Austin. Steve Austin hated Mr. McMahon because if there's one thing that he can't stand, it's Mr. McMahon. Steve Austin represented the anti-corporate masses, while Mr. McMahon was trying everything in his power to make Austin disappear. There was also alliances like the Ministry, his son Shane was also there, but this is a topic that deserves a whole different video. This storyline fits the young audiences of that time perfectly because they were sick of people who were trying to tell them what to do and just wanted to do everything on their own. But what do I know is the late 90s. And I was born in 2007. This and many other intriguing storylines were so appealing that WWF was starting to get back up and rival WCW's viewership.
Give me a hell yeah!
But the shift fully occurred on January 4th, 1999, with the Finger Poke of Doom incident. In short, WCW's commentators stated the results of WWF's Raw before it even aired on TV, just to prevent viewers from switching the channels. That night's Raw had the people's underdog Mankind with the WWF Championship. This announcement backfired as 600,000 people switched over to TNN to see Mankind being crowned as the WWF Champion. But when the viewers switched back, they witnessed a horribly bad angle called the Finger Poke of Doom. This company was on a roll, breaking into pop culture and launching a second show called SmackDown, which was launched to compete with WCW's Thunder. But once again, not all was sunshine and roses. On May 23rd, 1999, Owen Hart was scheduled to challenge the Godfather for his Intercontinental title. Hart was supposed to use a zipline for the rafters, the mechanisms failed, and Owen Hart tragically fell down to his death. The footage of the incident is lost and should never see the light of day again. Back to Big McMahon's business ventures. At that time, this launched his own American Football League called the XFL, which bankrupted 2 years later. But not all was lost, as in March of 2001, Vince bought the rapidly declining WCW and just a week later conquered the bankrupt ECW, a promotion based in Philadelphia run by Paul Heyman that focused on the extreme side of wrestling. Hey all, it's me from the production truck, and since this is kind of an introduction video, just wanted to shout out ECW for being one of the best promotions of all time, at least in my opinion. It won a stand 2005 and Barely Legal, one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time. Also, I love Raven. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Vince has once again conquered America. I'm starting to think that Vince is the answer to the question what if Julius Caesar was shit. Back to the topic again, we're entering a new millennium. Vince is milking the rivalries of his previous competitors, building new stars and replacing the old ones. The boom period has ended in 2002, and we were entering a new era. In that year, the WWF got sued by the WWF. No, WWF didn't sue itself. the World Wildlife Fund to the World Wrestling Federation, and the second company changed its name to World Wrestling Entertainment to avoid further legal trouble. But what really started the new era is the night that a young and no-gimmick John Cena slapped the Olympic gold medalist and best rookie of all time, Kurt Angle, and said that his one quality that he has is ruthless aggression. That era was also really good. Although not as popular as the Attitude Era, we witnessed the rise to stardom of Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, and the previously mentioned John Cena. But I think we're starting to notice a theme here. New era, new problems. And now we are gonna have to get a bit sad for a minute, if you excuse me. On November 13th, 2005, the legendary Eddie Guerrero passed away due to heart failure. He was a loving father, husband, and overall great person to everyone. And just 2 years later, the biggest tragedy in WWE history occurred. Now, disclaimer, I don't want to say which tragedy is worse or which one is better. Every death is tragic, so trigger warning, if you are very sensitive, I suggest you skip the video to this timestamp. Chris Benoit was a very dangerous wrestler. He would frequently take head bumps causing permanent brain damage. It got so bad to the point that it resembled the brain of an 85-year-old Alzheimer's patient. On the June 19th episode of ECW, which for your information, yes, the WWE rebooted ECW between 2006 and 2010, it was a development system and it was kind of shit to be honest. He wrestled his last match against Elijah Burke to determine who would walk out into that year's Vengeance pay-per-view as the number one contender for the ECW championship. After the show, Benoit was missing at house shows, stating that he had food poisoning. When he visited the Vengeance pay-per-view, the company started to get worried and replaced Benoit with John Morrison, back then known as Johnny Nitro, who won the ECW Championship from CM Punk. Days later, it was discovered that Chris, along with his wife Nancy and son Daniel, died in their family home in Fayetteville, Los Angeles. An investigation was launched and it was discovered that Chris Benoit killed both his wife and his son, and then committed suicide. WWE aired a memorial episode of Raw before the news broke out, and watching clips from the episode nowadays is very disturbing to say the least. The tragedy was heavily linked to Benoit's CTE and also steroid abuse. Also that year, another steroid scandal emerged. I'm not going to go in depth in it, but Coldholic have made an amazing documentary about it. I recommend watching it after this video. Okay, we can now cheer up a little bit now. On July 22nd, 2008, WWE officially became PG, thus starting the PG era. Due to the product becoming finally friendly, there was less edge to it and Super John Cena became the poster boy for the company. The product also began to distance itself from the fan feedback given the small media storylines, limiting talented superstars that were in dire need of a push and Roman Reigns. Also in that era, a little thing called NXT was created. It was, and still, is a development system for the new stars to master their craft. NXT at that time was miles ahead of the main roster, bringing in indie stars such as Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, Gunther, Asuka, Shinsuke Nakamura. Honestly, the list could go on and on. Point is, NXT good, WWE bad. WWE didn't have any serious competition and the fans got bored of it until Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks organized an event called All In. The event performed so good that Tony Khan, part owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and Fulham FC, decided he'd have a go at wrestling and created the biggest threat to WWE since the Monday Night Wars of the Attitude Era, All Elite Wrestling. They brought in stars from the independent scene along with unsatisfied WWE superstars like Jon Moxley, Tony Storm, Keith Lee, so on and so forth. Former stars of the Big Top began speaking out on how McMahon is not a good guy at all and he mistreated them. But the real juice began in 2022 when it was revealed that McMahon has spent $3 million on hush money for a former employee he allegedly had an affair with. 1 month later, in July, at 77 years old, he mysteriously stepped down as the CEO of WWE, probably to cover up the hush money use. The end. You really thought we were going to end this video here? No! Vince came back to WWE 6 months later, while his second at it, WWE merged with UFC to create TKO. When in January 2024, Vince resigned again, but this time for good. The end. Play the music. Okay, I know I have to be honest with you for a minute. For the whole video I've been speaking of Vince so kindly, avoiding any controversy that he could have avoided, but now it's time to show you how horrible of a person he is. He resigned from TKO because of the Janelle Grant lawsuit. Ms. Grant was a former WWE employee at the WWE Global HQ. She stated that McMahon forced her into having a relationship with him, sexually assaulted her multiple times, and has been sex-threatening her to an unnamed superstar who was also stated to be a UFC fighter. She agreed to sign an NDA for $3 million. Yes, the harsh money was going to her, but after she wasn't paid enough, she spoke out and filed the lawsuit. The lawsuit is still on hold as McMahon is still under investigation. The only remaining McMahon in the business is Stephanie McMahon's husband, Arthur Hearst Helmsley. In 2006, at Tribute to the Troops in Kuwait, Ashley Matsara was sexually assaulted by a man pretending to be a doctor at an American military base. McMahon ignored and mishandled the situation so much that when she passed away in 2016, they refused to acknowledge her career. They acknowledged it in February 2024, saying that they took all the protocols bullshit. Matsara said that the higher-ups were preying on female stars and sabotaging them when they weren't obedient, which I 100% believe in. The women before the PG era treated more like objects than actual humans. Don't even get me started on the Attitude Era. Steroid scandals, he did that shit. That man was ruining his talent like he was giving candy to kids. Dropping harder on live television, he said that like he meant it with all of his heart. Montreal Screwjob straight up bullied Hart after it happened. On Hart's death, his wife still thinks that they handled his death poorly and gave the right to carry his legacy to AEW. 2015 Roman Reigns, mocking Gerald's Bell Palsy. 2015 Roman Reigns, wearing the Nexus. I repeat, 2015 Roman fucking Reigns. You cannot look at this picture and tell me this is the same man.
I think he's just a bum.
Vince McMahon is now 79 and according to his wife is in poor health. I'm sure some people liked him and he was not a bad family man, but I hope this man never gets any wrestling or anyone that could be a victim ever again. Right, I know we've ended on a really bad note, but thank you for watching. I appreciate you've stayed until the end. I post on Twitter almost every day, and until next time, peace.
Dummy. Yeah. Yeah. Dummy. Yeah. Yeah. Dummy. Yeah. Yeah.